Most people are taught to play fair, to follow the rules, to be liked. But behind closed doors, where real power is moved, where decisions are made, where legacies are shaped, those who win rarely play by the rules they preach. Niccolò Machiavelli knew this truth centuries ago. His book, The Prince, wasn't a moral doctrine. It was a manual for rulers, men who had to navigate betrayal, ambition, politics, and bloodshed. It was unapologetically cold, deeply strategic, and surgically precise. But you don't need to sit on a throne for the prince to apply to you. In a world dominated by branding, business, politics, and perception, Machiavelli's rules are still in play. And whether you're conscious of them or not, they're either being used by you or on you. These are 10 timeless tactics from The Prince, reframed for the modern world of influence, wealth, and power. Appear virtuous, but do what is necessary behind closed doors. Machiavelli's first principle is about optics. People crave the appearance of morality more than morality itself. They want to believe in noble leaders, selfless entrepreneurs, and honest institutions. But the reality is far messier. He wrote, "It is not necessary for a prince to have all the virtuous qualities, but it is necessary to appear to have them." In today's world, this translates to image control. You must cultivate the appearance of integrity, compassion, fairness, while retaining the freedom to make cold, decisive, strategic moves when no one is watching. The successful understand this split. They build their brand around ideals, but run their businesses with discipline, public virtue, private strategy. It is safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. The modern man is often told to chase likability, be the nice guy, be agreeable. But in power dynamics, being universally liked often means being universally disrespected. Machiavelli explains that while love is fleeting and conditional, fear is predictable and reliable. Men have less scruple in offending one who is beloved than one who is feared. This isn't about tyranny, it's about presence. You don't need to intimidate others, but you do need to be unshakable. Someone who will set boundaries, enforce standards, and act without hesitation. Respect backed by capability always outweighs affection backed by weakness. Be the man people think twice before crossing. Control perception, it is more powerful than reality. In Machiavelli's world, kings rose and fell not only by what they did, but by how their actions were perceived. Reputation was armor, and perception was a battlefield. In today's hypervisual culture, the same rule applies tenfold. Your appearance, your tone, your digital footprint, these are not accessories. They are the architecture of your influence. You must think like a strategist. What does your presence communicate before you speak? What does your online image convey without context? The man who shapes perception intentionally shapes outcomes. Those who neglect it get misinterpreted, misrepresented, and erased. Act decisively. Hesitation is more dangerous than failure. In The Prince, Machiavelli warns that delayed action invites disorder. Boldness carries risk, but hesitation invites collapse. In business, leadership, and life, the man who acts first often frames the field of play. The uncertain man waits for confirmation. The Machiavellian man makes his move and lets the world adjust to him. This doesn't mean you act recklessly. It means that once a strategy is sound, you don't second guess. In a culture addicted to endless planning and digital distraction, the man who moves fast, on instinct and insight, wins by sheer momentum. Understand that the rules are flexible and often made by the winners. Machiavelli was blunt. Idealism is a luxury afforded only by those who are protected from consequence. The man trying to build something in a competitive world must be willing to operate in gray areas, not out of malice, but out of necessity. The successful do not blindly follow inherited rules. They study the structure, understand its limitations, and know when to bend it. They know when to fake compliance and when to break ranks. Morality without judgment is weakness. Strategic flexibility, on the other hand, is freedom. Use alliances wisely, but never become dependent. Every prince needs allies, but every ally is a potential rival. This was Machiavelli's view, and it still holds. Whether you're building a company, expanding a brand, or navigating personal dynamics, the people who support you today may undermine you tomorrow. not out of hatred, but out of shifting incentives. You must be ruthlessly honest in assessing people's motivations. Build networks, but maintain leverage. Share credit, but never give away the foundation. Appreciate loyalty, but test it quietly. Dependency is dangerous. Power flows to the man who can walk away. Eliminate threats completely. Half measures breed retaliation. Machiavelli advised that enemies should either be left untouched or utterly destroyed. There is no safety in half punishment. A wounded adversary is a future saboteur. In modern life, this means being clear and final in your boundaries. Don't fire someone and keep texting them updates. Don't end a toxic friendship and continue to entertain it out of guilt. When someone compromises your vision, integrity, or forward motion, you handle it once and with finality. The weak man apologizes into a trap. The strong man acts cleanly, then moves forward. Decisiveness is mercy in disguise. Adapt fast. Fortune favors the flexible. Machiavelli described fortune as a river. It floods and shifts without warning. The man who adapts to its changes survives. In today's world, change happens daily. Business, tech, relationships, finance, all of it is a storm, and the rigid drown in it. Flexibility isn't weakness, it's power under pressure. The man who adapts faster than his competitors doesn't need to be better. He just needs to evolve first. When systems shift, be first to shift with them. Adaptation is the quiet superpower of modern Machiavellians. Guard your intentions behind layers of ambiguity. Transparency is romanticized. But in The Prince, Machiavelli reminds us that secrecy is strength. The more people know about your plans, your goals, your personal philosophies, the easier you are to manipulate. Don't overshare. Don't show every move. Cultivate mystery, not to mislead, but to preserve autonomy. In the information age, silence is strategy. The fewer people who understand your next step, the harder it becomes to predict, block, or sabotage it. Build power from within. Don't depend on love, fear, or luck. Machiavelli wasn't against love or popularity. He simply knew they were unreliable foundations. The man who depends on them is always one scandal or setback away from collapse. True power is built from competence, clarity, and conviction. You must become the kind of man who can stand alone if necessary, who can operate without applause, who builds from discipline, not dopamine. You don't win by being feared or loved. You win by being necessary, by making your existence so efficient, so valuable, so unignorable, that even your enemies respect your role. And that is the essence of The Prince. It isn't about being evil, it's about being effective. The world is already Machiavellian. Most people just haven't read the manual. Now you have. Use it wisely, sharpen your perception, control your image, move with precision, lead not by entitlement, but by relentless strategy. This is the sovereign doctrine, where power isn't given, it's taken.